So have you missed me at college?
Well, it's only
you
been
seem
a
like
year.
you've been just fine. You and Mike are all booed up.
I mean, I missed you, but you left and Mike came. Well, oh Lord Jesus.
You know we're going to get into that with Cynthia today. Welcome back. We have Mike Hill and Cynthia Bailey, who apparently does not have empty nest syndrome, according to that last clip. Ooh. You realized, I think, right after what you had said. And Mike, what did you think about that clip? I gotta know.
Well, you know, here's the thing. I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you, because there's Cynthia Bailey and then there's 50 Cent. Yeah. There's that other side. Cynthia is, what do they say, a lady in the streets.
Yeah.
In the bedroom, she's mine. I'm gonna say it like
right.
She's mine. She
Put
makes
me
sure
on
that I'm
street.
well.
Yeah. Speaking of streets, no pun intended.
Well, please, baby. Thank you.
Was Noah a little embarrassed with what you said?
Well,
she was like, miss me, Mom, and you're like, I'm good.
I'm not your traditional mom.
Yeah.
So, you know, Noel and I, you know, she's my daughter, but we're also friends, and you know, she's my one and only. So we talk. She knows her mama's crazy.
But she has also said it time and time again that she's
that's
a little
true.
embarrassed every time we
Yeah.
you know, because even though we're a little older, we still like to, get around.
PDA going.
Yeah, we still do things like that, and our kids kind of bring things up to us one
That's
time.
true.
As a matter of fact, Noelle, the first time she came and spent the night at the house when you were there, she told me how thin our walls were. So she did.
The walls are very thin here, guys.
I forgot about that. No, like seriously.
Yeah, she
The next
did.
day she was like,
Wow.
So Mike
and you're like,
has
and
thin
this
walls.
is Mike.
Yeah, right.
What an intro.
Yeah.
My God.
crazy.
I love it. Now, Cynthia, you were getting a lot of flack for being so open about wanting to get married, but Mike, you apparently were all for it and even posted on your IG that you were just thirsty.
Yes.
So how was it seeing all that play out on the show?
You know what, for me, I do feel like I'm thirsty. I'd like to say excited more so than thirsty.
Yes.
But, you know, my haters say thirsty. But my people that lift me up in a blaze of glory say that I'm excited. So I'll take it either way. As long as the road leads to Mike Hill, it is what it is. I'm happy. I'm happy. And I never thought I would, be in love again. And I never thought I would marry again. I mean, you guys all know that. I mean, I like sang that, screaming from the rooftops and everything. So for me to be where I'm at now, for me to be where I am now is really like, I didn't see it coming.
I say it's okay to be thirsty if you got a tall drink.
Thank you.
Thank you. Amen.
Where the straw at, baby?
I will say at that Barbie party when you went as thirsty bride, I was like, good on Cynthia.
Well,
for
you
like
know,
challenging it. I like that.
I feel like, season 12, I own my shit.
That's right.
Amen to that.
You want to call me thirsty? I'll give you thirsty.
Yeah.
I'm parched too.
That's right.
Thank you.
Parched too. I am.
So we're equally parched.
Was it
Equally
difficult,
harsh.
Mike, at the beginning of the relationship with dealing with somebody who was kind of putting it all out there on TV like that?
Yes and no, because I'm in the entertainment business too, been on television for a while too. So, but at the same time, when I first met her, I said, if we date, it's one thing, but if we're in a relationship, it's another. And then that's when I'll come on the air. That's when I'll come on the reality show with her and support her. And whatever she has going on, I want to support her. I want to be there for her. So that's her job. So I know that's her reality. And her reality is love right now. Like I've always said, that this is not a storyline. This is a love story. And so we want to put that out there and be an example for other people.
How long did it take from you guys to go from dating to being in a relationship?
It was a slow burn.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm thirsty now,
little too
but I wasn't
slow, or-
as thirsty in the beginning.
Simmering.
No, I mean, we were both. I was, loosely dating. Mike was.
She was out there
Mike was loose.
She was hot. That's okay, baby.
I mean, we were doing our thing. We both were doing our thing. We met through Steve Harvey. I think everybody knows that if they have a television at this point.
Let's hope, because they should be watching this show.
right.
And, again, I didn't really go into Steve's dating pool thinking I have to meet someone. I was like, you know what, Steve, now, if none of these dudes, if I'm not checking for any of these dudes, I'm not going to pick any of these guys. And he was like, no, we'll bring 6 more in. We'll keep doing it until we find someone. So I didn't really have a huge expectation. I was open to it, but I wasn't thinking I was going to leave with someone that I could be married to years later.
Here we are.
Yeah, and here we
Pleasant surprise. I'll drink the water.
are. Okay, hashtags and all.
Yeah, that's right.
right.
Chill, baby.
Yes.
We also spoke earlier about Kenya and Mark's separation and how she mentioned that the distance was kind of a big part of it. Now, how have you been able to kind of overcome that hurdle? Because I know that you're in LA and you're in Atlanta. Similar how she was in Atlanta and he's in New York.
This
What's
is the
different
first time
here?
you guys are in New York
This
together.
is the first time.
This
Yeah,
is
it's the
big.
first
time in New York
But you know,
together.
and I actually happened to be here because work brought me here.
That's right.
You know, and she happened to be here for her work, so it kind of worked out. So it wasn't something that was planned that we would come to New York together. But it works out because I'm in Atlanta all the time. My family lives
And
in
I'm in
Atlanta.
LA all
yeah,
the
and she's in LA all the time. My mom lives in Atlanta. My brother lives in Atlanta. My nieces. So Atlanta's like a second home to me, and I'm traveling so much that we don't really spend that much time in one household anyway. So
Right.
I think I've spent more time last year probably on the road and in Atlanta than I did in LA. So it works out. And
it's
then,
true. It's true. Lots of FaceTime and phone sex too.
Yeah, just bring it
Yeah.
down to, yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
That's right.
I mean,
On cell phones, though,
And
because
we
you
have
don't
a
want
2-week
Noelle
rule.
coming in that landline. You don't want her sneaking in.
No, but we have a 2-week rule too.
Yeah.
Which actually Eva, shared with me that she and Mike had her mic. You
Yeah.
know, it's like the models and the mics. Anyway,
course.
she had a 2-week rule, and we try not to break it. Like even if it's just for a couple of days, like I'll get on the plane and just go to LA if I have to. I mean, it's exhausting, but I want to make sure that I'm in. These cheekbones are in his face, like at least every 2 weeks.
well, no matter where she is, she's in my heart. That's the God honest
that's
truth.
nice.
I was going to say, I have a feeling he's not thinking about you when you're not around.
And after you get married, you're thinking the same sort of thing. You'll keep up this sort of arrangement, staying between two cities.
Yeah, for right now, I think so. I mean, I love Lake Bailey, and
Mm-hmm.
Mike loves his house, and you love Lake Bailey. We want to keep it, want to do both. But I think at some point, eventually, we do. As long as we're trying to spend at least
The majority of the time.
85%
Yeah.
of our time under one roof. But the crazy thing is, with our careers, even if we lived in one house and only had one house, we wouldn't see each other every day.
Yeah.
anyway.
Right, you'd still be
We're always
traveling.
working.
Exactly.
We're always gone.
So why do you think it works? It works for you, but it was hard for Kenya. Why do you think the difference there?
question.
Well, I don't know. I mean, our relationships are very, different. I mean, two different people. I'm not Kenya. She's not Cynthia. And Mike and Mark are not the same people. I think one of the things that helped us was it's been almost 2 years now since we've known each other. Things with Mark and Kenya moved kind of quickly.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Like super quickly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, tricky to get married and then kind of get to know each other.
Right.
Like we actually we know a lot about each other. We spend a lot of time together, and because of the long distance relationship, when we are together, we really maximize our time together.
Of course.
We don't take it for granted. Like I'm all over this man.
See, there was an advantage of that simmering in
Yeah,
the
this
beginning.
is
See?
slow cook.
It was.
All right, Mike, we got you on the hot seat. We've
Okay.
never met you, so I got to ask you a few questions. I know you're working on your memoir.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank
Are
you.
there any untold chill stories that we haven't heard? I gotta know.
Chill between us?
Yeah.
No, I think you kind of know everything. And if you haven't seen it, it's going to be on the show. This season, I think they kind of go really in depth in our relationship. So you see the ups and downs of the relationship. You see our kids interacting. You see a lot of different parts of the chill aspect.
We have our first argument on the show.
Oh,
It was
over
a
something
huge
in your book.
argument. Well, it was it was something in my. Well, it was. I don't know. Was it something from the book?
Well, I was reading your book.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember what happened.
She
but
asked
you
a
guys-
question about something. I think you even saw the clip about me saying something about her with some other people or whatnot. Which
Something about affairs.
yeah,
It's
well, yeah. So you'll see what that's all about. But in my book, I'm very open. That's why I call it open mic. I'm transparent, and I talk about my past relationships and where I went wrong and how I went wrong and how I've grown from them and how I needed therapy. And that book was therapy. And I believe that book is the reason that we were together. Because if I had not written that book when I was writing that book, when we first met, I don't think I would have been able to open up to her like I did.
Right.
And she was listening to it and she heard it and she basically gives it a lot of credit.
Yeah, I mean, Mike had a lot of demons that he needed to sort out.
We all did. We all do. We all do. No shit.
And he wrote it all in this book.
Yeah.
And honestly, I, had already fell in love with this man by the time I actually read the book. But I was reading the book like,
But as I was writing the book,
maybe I should have read the book first.
I was reading her excerpts of the book as I was writing it.
Right.
So, and it allowed me to cleanse myself from a lot of the things that I've done in the past. And I think she saw the transparency in me, and I think, at least that's what you said. That's
Yeah, I
one of the
did.
reasons why you
I
fell
love
for
your
me.
transparency because I really, like when I look at him, I'm like, oh, okay, when I met him, I just assumed he was just this great looking guy that had like a great life. And I didn't really think he had so many layers that needed to be unpeeled, honey.
Yeah.
I really didn't. And then I was like, oh, okay, let me read more of this book.
Yeah, right. Who's a better editor, your editor or Cynthia?
That remains to be seen, to be quite honest with you. Cynthia will definitely get me under control. She will correct me.
She gets final word.
But
I'm writing the foreword for the book.
She is writing the foreword.
Oh.
Yes. And
I have a lot to say.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be longer than the book. The forward is just the whole book. You get a page.
The long and short.
So we're counting down the days. You know, we have a big wedding coming down the way. How's it going? Do you have a date yet?
We do have a date.
Okay.
We have the perfect date, actually.
Oh.
Our date is 10-10-20, which is 2020. And I actually have to thank Miss Candy for helping me with the date, because we knew we wanted to do it in October, but I didn't know exactly when. And she was like, I got it. We were actually in Greece, and we were like on the bus, like just bored, and we were talking about, you know, wedding stuff, whatever. And she was like, 10-10-20, 2020. Which is like 2020 vision is perfect. Like,
I love that.
And it falls on a Saturday.
Perfect. Falls on a Saturday.
Even better.
And we're like, and our little mantra is, we're not perfect, but we're perfect for each other. So we're running with this whole perfect thing.
So shout out to Candy. Candy gets an invite to the wedding.
Candy's definitely invited.
Candy's invited.
Candy's invited. Kenya had said that you weren't planning to have any bridesmaids. Is that true?
I am not really wanting to have any bridesmaids.
We're available. I mean,
No, she said no.
Well, you know, it's a lot going on in the friendship department over
That's
here.
right.
I'm like trying to mend friendships. New friendships are blossoming. I just got to make sure. Well, we'll just see what happens by the time we get to the reunion. Who even makes it to the wedding?
That's right.
So I got to sacrifice my groomsmen because her life is crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing we got to figure out, because Mike definitely wants a groomsman.
Yeah, I got you guys.
sometimes it is easier though, because then you don't have to decide who can be up there, who doesn't.
It's a lot. It's a lot of drama.
We'll
Like,
figure it out.
A lot of pressure.
Do you think it'll be filmed for the show?
if I'm on the show, absolutely.
Okay. All right, you can make a call about that.
I know a few people here and there.
I'd like a Cynthia Bailey special.
Yes,
personally.
done. I can make that happen.
Make that happen.
Here's the question we all want to know. Are you going to take his last name?
Cynthia wants me to take her last name.
I think that's the best idea. Mike Bailey?
I mean,
Yes.
think about this. The Bailey Wine Cellar, the Bailey Modeling Agency.
Bailey
Lake
Q.
Bailey Q. Everything is
Bowl.
Bailey.
My dog's name is Bailey.
Yeah, she wants everything Bailey, so I think...
It's a brand.
You got those
Come on.
Bailey candles.
It is. Yep, Cynthia Bailey candles. The Bailey Agency School of Fashion.
That's right.
We can just go on and on.
You know, a few
Yeah.
businesses.
But I mean, it
here.
has a
the
nice
Bailey
ring
husband.
to it.
Mike Bailey.
Mike Hill Bailey.
Oh,
Mike
I
Bailey
can
Hill.
hyphenate it? I can
Yeah, you can
hyphenate it?
hyphenate.
Mike
Bailey
Hill
Hill?
hyphen Bailey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike Bailey has a nice ring to it.
No, I'm good.
I like it.
Would you
appreciate
not
it,
do it?
No, I'm good.
I don't
Good.
think so.
You know, I'm curious. Have you spoken to Peter since you guys got engaged?
I have not known this.
I didn't think that was going to happen.
Since we got engaged, no, I don't believe I have. No, and definitely not. Discussing engagement stuff.
So maybe he read about it on People.com when we did the exclusive, and that's how we found out. Let's
Very,
Kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm
very
quite
good,
sure you
Dave.
heard about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of love, you actually had a really touching moment with your daughter Noelle as she revealed something about herself that not only shocked viewers, but you as well. Let's take a look at that.
You like guys and girls. People like to try to box everybody in and put labels on everything, but I don't really do that.
Okay. So you just like what you like?
Yeah, and that's just what it is. There's a lot of attractive guys and there's a lot of attractive girls.
Handled so well.
It's handled so well, really.
So well.
You did an amazing job of that, and I think that she was so brave about opening up, not just to you, but to the whole world. How is it for you to hear her truth in that moment?
Well, it was, it was a lot, but I'll say that in the best possible way. I've always been the kind of parent, I've always tried to be the kind of parent to Noelle to make her feel like she can tell me anything. I didn't even talk about sex to my mom, let alone my sexuality or anything like that. So I really wanted to make sure that she felt comfortable talking to me about it. And she did, as you saw. And I really thought it was great for her to actually tell her own story on our show, because I didn't really want anyone to tell it for her. Once I realized that, it wasn't just a phase, and, a lot of people say, oh, when they first go away to college, oh, she's just experimenting or whatever. whatever her truth is her truth, and I wanted her to tell her own story because a lot of times in this, in the times we live in, people have their camera phones or whatever, and I would hate for someone to video her with one of her little
That's actually
friends,
really good point.
and then put it out there because then what happens when you're on a reality show? If it's put out there before you put it out there, people look at it like, oh, like it's like a secret that we've had that she is,
right. This
that
way
we
you
were like
control the
trying to
narrative.
hide something. And my only goal with Noelle is to protect her and to support her. And I felt like as soon as I knew that this was a life choice and this is who she was, I was like, you tell your own story, and that way you don't have to worry about anyone else telling for you.
She's feeling good?
You know what she is? She was a little nervous, I have to say, watching the episode. She didn't know how she was going to be received. I mean, she didn't know, well, first of all, she didn't know that it was going to go viral.
Whoops.
And it did.
Sorry about that.
And we're still talking about it.
That's Dave's fault over here, not mine.
Thank you.
I was proud of her.
And it's overwhelming. I mean, she got probably 15,000 followers that night.
Oh.
And I don't even want to talk about her DMs. Let's just say her community has received her. And they support her.
We welcome her with open arms.
Yes,
we welcome her. Yes, absolutely.
Now, before I let you guys go, the inaugural BravoCon is this weekend. I want to know how you're feeling about that. Are you excited?
I'm super excited. This is the first one.
Yeah.
And I believe one of my reunion dresses is going to be there on display.
We have a museum.
I have my CB Vara bags that are going to be on sale there. And I think Andy's going to be popping up with Watch What Happens Live. I just did it, but I think, a bunch of us are going to all do it again.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be just a lot of Bravo folks.
Is there someone from another city you're really looking forward to seeing?
You know what? I just love seeing all the Bravo celebrities because I feel like we're all kind of a family, an extended family. And to be honest, we're never all in the same place at the same time. Yeah. So it's kind of cool that we really get to actually hang out.
I'm hoping it's a repeat of Andy's baby shower.
Oh my God.
That was the best. That was
I know. When is Benjamin's
amazing.
next party? I want to be invited to all Andy's baby stuff, for sure.
all the time, all the time.
That's when the lady was dancing on the table.
That lady.
Lisa Rinna was doing
Lisa Rinna, I live.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
You got everyone up there, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It's around two. It's around two. Cynthia, Mike, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we love having you here.
Be sure to catch new episodes of Real Housewives of Atlanta every Sunday night at 8 p.m. on Bravo.